First, I'm going to look at level 3. We'll look at the level 3 dashboard. I'm going to pull that over right now. So even if you are a current askSlim member, sometimes these reviews are very helpful. So on the level 3 dashboard, which is right here, there's a classic view that's got all of the areas of the level 3 membership that you can go to, but then we've organized them into sort of action items. So if you're looking for the indexes, major market sector analysis, all of that information, the reports that we do, the videos that we do relative to the indexes and major markets, sector analysis, all would be in this area here, which there's a lot on a weekly basis that is posted. There's a daily snapshot. There's a weekly Future Speak video, which steps through major markets that RV puts together based off of Slim's and his analysis. So that's a very enlightening video. And then there's Slim's most notable report. And with the most notables, that is a summary that Slim will do after he does his analysis on the charts. He'll step through the various segments of it then. So he'll look at the indexes, he'll look at VIX, treasuries, FX, metals, oil, natural gas, foods, cryptocurrencies. So he'll step through each one of these and give a technical synopsis of what he viewed when he went through the charts. And as I said, then you'll see the video presentation of that from RV in the Future Speak video. And then there's also office hours with RV. And that is an opportunity where on Discord, I'll pull that over right now. So on Discord, you have a chance to see RV's office hours. He has a Q&A where members can request symbols. So on any given week, there's somewhere between 10 to 15 symbols that RV will cover, and those are based on member requests. So if you're a premium member level 2 to level 4, you have a chance to submit a symbol that he will review. Now the review is done in a video format where he'll walk through the symbol, weekly, daily analysis, and then talk about what he's seeing from a trade planning perspective in those. And then also there is the opportunity to see the archive of the videos that he has done. So there's a lot of good teaching instruction that goes into it. There's charts that are posted. It's really, really an awesome interaction between our members and RV, and you get to see a professional analyst and trader work through their process. Same with the trade ideas Q&A. So this is, in a way, RV's blog. So again, the process of being an analyst, the process of being a trader, he steps you into his world, and you get to experience how he's tracking the markets, how he's scanning for opportunities, and then sharing what he's seeing, and back and forth that members get an opportunity to have, and then posting of ideas. So there's the Trade Ideas feed, which is just RV sharing the ideas that he's seeing, putting them up on the site with videos to give you some instruction around them. And then also if there's the questions that members can ask, they can do that right inside of the Q&A channel. So that's a great opportunity as part of the level 3 membership. I mean, there's so much, as I said before, that is available with that level 3 membership in terms of analysis and then trade ideas, being able to see our process, see the charts. So much here that is helpful. We try to save you time. So if you have a specific market that you're interested in, you have the ability, for example, with our Future Speak video, where you can go exactly to that market that you might have an interest in. So energy futures, currencies, metals, treasury, stock indexes, grains, foods, crypto. You can go right to the place in the analysis, to the segment of the video where RV does the analysis, click it, and it will open up to that segment. So very, very efficient, very, very effective approach to being able to get the analysis and work off of it. So that is part of the level 3 membership as well. And I'll get back to the overall dashboard here and keep going. Again, with the charts, we have live and streaming charts. So there's if I click on chart streams here, this gives you an opportunity to see a number of the major markets in live time. You basically can click on the symbol, and that takes you into a streaming environment where we have a media platform, and you click play, and it's going to then show you from left to right the multiple time frame analysis that then you can track, excuse me, in real time by simply clicking on that. So that's an opportunity for you to experience the analysis and the indicators in real time as a level 3 member. Obviously, as a level 4 member, you can directly get these charts and import them into your own TOS platform. But as level 3, we give you a taste of it so you can see what that might look like. You don't get to directly have access to these, but you can see our charts in live time, and then we have opportunity through Discord to answer questions that you might have. We also have a playbook that we built in the usability resources area where we step through each of the indicators. And then also, as I said, we have, so there's an indicator glossary. There's also a playbook that's for the near term, a playbook that's for the short term, where we talk about the grid itself, what the indicators mean, what these setups can look like in terms of like a momentum continuation setup, what that looks like when things are shifting, how the indicators are reacting as the market changes, and what that can mean for potential setups and opportunities. This was a very comprehensive usability area that you can utilize. Okay, so that was chart streams. So again, with level 3, you can get access to our static charts, and then we have our chart streams. And then there's also, with a lot of what we do, there are videos that come with the static charts. So you can watch the video, and then we might post those charts as well. And then also there are, for our level 4 plus membership, which is higher than level 4, you can request symbols, and you're guaranteed to get 2 symbols reviewed by the analyst team, a maximum of 2 per week. And with the office hours, it is more of it's first come, first serve. There's a cap on it. So with the chart level 4 plus chart requests, you can ask for up to 2 per week, but you're guaranteed to get those within 24 to 48 hours, a review of the daily cycle and weekly cycle analysis. But the cool thing as a level 3 or level 4 member is that you can track those. So as our level 4 plus members ask for these symbols, you can also get to see them. So that is I find that super interesting, because it's always great from 2 perspectives. One is, what are other members looking at, because they might be spotting something interesting, and then also, how does the analyst team then put together the analysis on it? So I find it fascinating, the combination of both the members who are requesting the symbols, and then also the analyst team then who are putting their technical analyst hats on and doing the review on both the weekly and the daily charts. So it's really, really cool feature or service that comes with level 4 plus, but then the level 4 and level 3 members get to benefit from that. So that is part of the level 3 membership as well. And then directional bias tools. So for us at askSlim, understanding directional bias is paramount. We believe that the trend, the structure, the pattern structures, the cycle structure, all of what helps to get momentum, the momentum analysis, to give us a sense of where are we in terms of the directional bias, because the directional bias really should drive your decision around your position bias. So what's your posture? Are you looking to be long, looking to be short? Are you neutral? And then also, with the cycle analysis comes timing. So we have to not only understand the directional bias, but also the maturity of the move. Are we in the initial rising phase of a new move? Are we in the meat of the, maybe there's if we're talking about a bullish sort of setup, then are we in the, if I pull up this one here as an example, this was from earlier, BE. I know this one really was a flyer, but let's just talk about this in terms of understanding the phase or maturity of the move. So we have a pullback here. You can see, so I have multiple time frame analysis here, or that's going to happen. So from left to right, you have the weekly, daily, 2-hour. And if I'm a near-term, short-term trade, or even an intermediate time frame, understanding where you are on the 2 hour is important, because a lot of people say, man, geez, I never got that pullback that I wanted. How could I ever buy this thing? Well, you've got to, you've got to understand where you are in the phase, and also the type of move that you're in. And so this was an extremely strong move, and our indicators are going to help with that. They're going to help tell you that this is a screamer on the upside. And the slim ribbon, the reversal scout, both of them stayed positive the whole time. But then in the 2 hours where you get your wiggles, where you get a chance to re-enter. So even though the daily chart, so if you just stared at the weekly daily, you might say, I never had a chance to enter. Even though if you've done this long enough, you see that the slim ribbon provides you with cues or clues in terms of these little pullbacks. And when you touch into the middle part of that slim ribbon, all things considered, meaning the rest of the overall picture stays positive, then it gives you these new opportunities. And that's what the slim ribbon PO is calling out. This is the most fantastic continuation indicator I've come across that Slim built and RV built, that helps to give you continuation opportunities. So for those people that say, geez, I never saw another opportunity to enter this thing is screaming to you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times that there's new opportunities for continuation on the upside. There's another one here that it did fire, but again, this was a pretty steep correction or pullback that had happened. But anyways, coming back to the 2 hour, you can see we went neutral in the slim ribbon, then we went negative in the reversal scout. Once those both committed to the positive again, they went back, shifted back positive. That's your buy signal that would suggest, okay, probability is high that there's another up move likely to take place. So all of the indicators we put on these charts are not here for show. They are absolutely here to tell us something in particular, whether it is bias, whether it is pattern structures, whether it is maturity in terms of where are we in the move, and buy, sell signals in terms of continuation opportunities. All of this helps to put that picture together. The MCI here on the bottom is all about helping us understand whether we have a positive, negative, or more neutral condition. You can see here. So this is an indicator that is the combination of several different time frames, and it has just stayed positive. It stayed positive this whole time. So again, understanding directional bias. What tools do you have to help you determine what that directional bias is? What tools do you have to help you understand where are you in the move in terms of the maturity of the move? And then using multiple time frames to give you the new opportunity or the clues into as things change. So that's what level 3 is really going to take you into, this world of analysis, trade planning, execution, talking about all that whole trade setup lifestyle process that you need to have. And then in terms of bias, we have the market conditions monitor. So that is a tool that is in live time where you have an opportunity. Here it is right here. Whereas a level 3 member, you get the short-term, near-term, and intermediate time frames. And what I like to do is I go to the intermediate time frame and then I'll sort, okay? And I'll look at the either bullish, very bullish, all the way to bullish conditions. And there's so many very bullish right now, as you can tell. And then I'll go down even a slightly bullish. So slightly bullish all the way to very bullish. And then I'll want to see if there's these same symbols are pulling back, let's say in the near term, like I just showed in that BE. So if you have a pullback in the near term, let's bring back up BE. So the market conditions monitor will identify that, let's say there's a let's say a neutral or slightly bearish condition happening in the near term, but for a symbol that is strong, or vice versa. If it was weak, right, and weak in the intermediate time frame or weak in the short term, and then you look on the intraday, or in this case for a level 3 member on the 2 hour or the near term, you would, let's take the bullish case, that's something that's either neutral, slightly bearish. You can set an alert. So there is some number of alerts. I think you get like 50 or 75 that you can subscribe to in terms of alerts. You could set an alert in the near term for a specific symbol that you are looking for the opportunity to, say, go long in. You can set the alert so that when it goes into, even like these, so let's say that you were waiting for a pullback in XME, TAN, Chevron, I can set this to even slightly bullish or neutral or slightly bearish, okay? And then what's going to happen is I'm going to be notified when XME pulls back and the neutral or the near-term condition goes to one of those conditions. So if you have that near-term condition move to slightly bearish or neutral or slightly bullish, and then I can keep my eye on it and see, is this a new opportunity on the long side? Same thing for those that might be very bearish. If these were the condition overall was very bearish and you're waiting for a move back into, let's say, neutral or slightly bullish, something like that, you could do that as an example. And then as they come into neutral, slightly bullish, you can pay attention to it. You could even set an alert then back to slightly bearish. The point is, just like over here, what you're trying to do is understand where are we, and then when's that next move, that next price move, the next swing starting. And if you're finding trending stocks, momentum plays that are not fighting each other in different time frames, unless you're looking for, as we just talked about, and if you didn't catch it earlier, Katie and I did a segment on option strategies, and we were talking about when you're in a choppy condition, how you can use strategies around that. But if you're looking at more trending opportunities, how you can, in that shorter time frame, pinpoint when you're, again, if you're looking at overall bullish condition, you want a neutral, slightly bearish, and then you're trying to time it for when it turns back up. So Market Conditions Monitor helps with tracking. That's why we call it a monitor. It tracks the conditions, it tracks them in live time at multiple time frames. Very, very helpful. And then we also have our ranking system. So the ranking system, the difference between the ranking system and the Market Conditions Monitor is this is not in live time. This is updated on a daily basis. It also includes our cycle analysis in it. So this adds another nuance or dimension into, or component into the overall outlook. The directional bias is not just purely momentum based. It also brings in some volatility. It's a part of our OBI formula. And then also we use the intermediate cycle information to help give us that intermediate bias. And then we pull it all together in one algorithm and we give you an outlook for the next 3 to 6 weeks. And you can easily just sort here and look at symbols. So let's just look at a few of these here really quick. The top two, we got PAAS, PAS, and FES. So let's just look at PAS and show you what my process would be. I got to remove some of these drawings here so we can start fresh. So PAS look like it just hit a multi. I love these patterns. It's so fun to look at this stuff. But a new multi, which makes sense, right? Silver hit a new high. This is we have connected to the silver, and you have the minor. So it makes sense that it's going to be reflecting a similar kind of pattern. Let's just see what we have here really quick, and in terms of opportunities, how much is left. So when I try to evaluate the maturity of the move, I'm trying to understand how much is left in this move. And right now, RV is right. And he evaluated it in terms of silver being in a more of a blow off. As he drew the trajectory of these moves, you get into these hyper trends, parabolic moves, where you can just see where the money is flowing. And but I want to understand how much is left. So right now, there's some room here, right? But it's not a ton for me. So on a short-term outlook, you get a pop into around 40, and then I might see a pullback that happens. So I would draw from here. I'm speculating right now, but it might come back, somewhere back into the slim ribbon. But this is a key swing. So we've got a key swing right here. I'm going to do another draw to help me understand how much could be left in this one as well. So this is my process that I'm going to use. Even though I have a directional bias, which right now is clearly bullish, that doesn't mean that I may not have a proper risk reward ratio. Or how do I establish a proper risk reward ratio? And if I'm going to do that, I have to be mindful that there's some fib extension levels that are likely to attract some selling. So I would have to, for me, I would want to keep my stops tighter. So I'd probably be looking at these last 2 days of lows here. And if I'm going to look to be long in the short term, I want to make sure that my risk reward ratio is going to make sense. So that's how I use this to help set that up. But how I got here is because we have these tools like the ranking system that in an instant, I can click on directional bias and I can get this awesome perspective of what's happening. And then again, if you are an option trader and you want to look at some more neutral based strategies to collect some premium on, there's nothing better than when the bulls and the bears are fighting each other. We always are, but when you really can see it in the indicators, those are great patterns. Or maybe there's a base forming and then there's this big breakout. So these are, there's so much nuance that you can gather by looking at our tools. And we always want to keep things right at your fingertips so you can click and see the weekly chart, the daily chart. Also, we had requests for people, they wanted to know, sort of a hub area for the information. So you got cycle low dates in here, even have cycle low counts. So if you're doing this, you're trying to practice on your own, maybe you've taken a workshop that's available, a cycle analysis workshop that Slim put a couple of years into developing. You can see what those cycle bars are, and then you can draw them on there, so you can practice. But we give you that information and the key levels. Where's that key support, and you can see, wow, I mean, this thing broke out in June and it hasn't stopped. And daily key levels, so super insightful information that you can use for actionable trade planning. All right, so there's the ranking system. I mean, as I said, level 3 is, I think, an active trader sort of dream in terms of technical analysis, trade ideas, education, and having a support team there really all the time in terms of being able to go to Discord, and if you have questions, to be able to support your membership experience. Cycle timing tools, we have a cycle low timing tracker, and that tracker is, Katie manages this, so you have 3 phases here. So again, we're trying to understand the maturity of a move. Where are we in the move? And when you get into that period of risk where you have a cycle low, we call it the cycle low timing window. And this is an opportunity then to follow where is that symbol in reference to that cycle low timing period. Are we in that cycle low timing period? If yes, okay, which symbols? It looks like there's a lot of symbols in there right now. And then which ones are showing some bottom pending, which ones are bottom confirmed. That helps with anchoring your risk management, because if you're in a strong stock and we make a bottom pending, odds are that favor you're likely to hold that low. But in terms of proper risk management, you have an anchor to work with. Bottom confirmed, yes, the move is likely already started. But again, it doesn't mean it's over. It means that move is now underway. So you can look at and you can see which symbols are more positive or negative. We have the green indicators that tell us that. And then Katie also indicates when there's the weekly, daily cycle timing is in sync. There's more opportunity and more risk when that happens. So a ton of information, great information here. And if you have questions, she has a Discord channel where she can assist you with those questions around the cycle low timing tracker. Markets are complex. You've got to have a complex methodology to deal with it. This isn't about trying to be we don't want to complicate anything. The goal is to uncomplicate it through having a complex methodology that can deal with all that's happening in the markets, and so that you can simplify it into a trade planning process. Ultimately, that's where you're trying to get to, is how do I convert the analysis into a decision-making process? Because you need to know, what's my outlook period, right? How long do I want to hold this trade? How much room do I have on the upside or downside in terms of potentially left in the move, so I can set up my reward risk ratio properly? There's, all these details that you want to have. When do I want to have my position sizing be larger versus smaller? What drives that? So we really put a lot of this together so that can help with that. Let's go back to level 3, timing tools, trade ideas. I talked about that. RV has a blog here that you can see on the site, and then he has an actual trade ideas area where he logs these trade ideas, and he has an incredible directional bias ratio in terms of when he positions a long or short, what are the odds that fulfills that directional bias? It's greater than like 70%. So you really are going to learn through askSlim and RV how to position your position bias or directional bias based on our tools and our method and our process, and that you can create your own. And then there's some my trade planning areas where you can go and you can create your own trade ideas, track your own trade ideas. We essentially give you a template to work off of. You can work off of old templates that we have, or you can create a new template for yourself, step through a process. This is like batting practice. If you're a baseball player, or if you're a golfer, or if you're a musician, you obviously have to take a lot of reps, right? You've got to do a lot of practice, and it's going to take hours, and it's going to take hours. And this is a great way to be disciplined in a process. Do you have to do it every time? Well, I mean, I would definitely spend a few minutes for sure. Obviously, you got to do your analysis, but this puts your plan together, and you start to build really good habits when you're doing that. You're not just winging it. Now, if you've been in the markets for decades, yeah, there's a lot of you have instinct that you've built up over time, but this is still great practice. Even if you're 20, 30 years in, I think it's very smart to be aware of what your process looks like. Now, are you going to do this right before you enter a trade? No, this is something that as you're going through your work, as you're looking at your charts, you're setting yourself up so that when the time comes, you're ready to execute and you have a plan in place. Okay. I think I covered everything I wanted to in level 3. You can see how robust it is. It's a fantastic service. If you have questions on it, let me know. Otherwise, you can go to the top of the site and you can sign up for level 3. Or if you're a current member and you want to upgrade, you can do that as well. Just write to me or team@askSlim.com.